Hello class and welcome to this
Super Mario Brothers 3!
walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Brigands.
You didn't say there'd be a new game!
Don't worry Jenny Lewis, we got you covered as we're going to show you every single secret, every single fact, everything to know about this classic. I'm your instructor, Professor Brigands, and this legendary title is widely regarded as being one of the best and most influential games of all time. And to match such a legendary game, I figure you need to have a legendary guest. So joining us once again, we've still got the best booking agent in the game. Here's Mario. Welcome back, Mario. How you been?
Mario, very good. How you been, Professor?
Well, not as good as you, Mario. When you were last here for our walkthrough of Super Mario Bros. 2, you were here promoting the then relatively brand new Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's since gone on to become a huge box office smash success, grossing over $1 billion at the box office internationally.
That's right. That's a billion with a B.
I think you made that joke last time, but it also set the record for the highest grossing opening weekend for any animated film in history.
That's right. That mouse gonna suck it.
Not sure Mickey still does movies, but point taken. By the way, maybe you've answered this before, but how come your clothes don't rip off, but they grow with you when you eat a super mushroom?
What can Mario say? It's the magic of the mushroom.
You don't know, do you?
No clue. All Mario knows is how it makes him feel.
How does it make you feel?
Incredible. Like you cannot do anything in the world.
And when you get hit and shrink back down?
It is the most painful experience you can possibly imagine, Professor.
Well, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that later. This is a long game, so let's get started. In terms of difficulty, I'm going to give Super Mario Bros. 3 a 5 out of 10, which on the frustration scale equates to... I'm sorry, it's actually nice being able to cover a class on something easier this week.
What you were talking about? Mario's games is as challenging as anything. You ever been to Pipeline, Professor?
Last week's class was on Battletoads.
Oh, shit.
I think we spooked Mario with the B word, but we'll try to get him back. In the meantime, let's start a new game and take a look at the controls for Super Mario Bros. 3. You can see there's a couple specialized commands for certain items you might have, but for the most part, pretty straightforward. Attack with B, jump with A, pause with start, things like that. As we take a look now at the Briggs notes, these are the keys to beating this game in the Super Mario Bros. 3 walkthrough. Not too many secrets. I mean, there's a ton of secrets. We'll show you all the secrets, but no secrets to beating this game. Just stock up on the good items and extra life locations, which we will show you. Right now, we're going to grab our first leaf, which gives us the raccoon tail. Clear out these Goombas with B, and we're going to use this runway to gain some speed holding down B. Get that P meter all the way up, and we can fly, get our first one up. I'm going to use this as a bit more runway here in the clouds. Go to the right and drop down on this pipe. We see a nice little nod to this being the third game in the Super Mario Bros. Series. This was arguably the first really big anticipated video game release, really in video game history, as we come in with a full head of steam, full P-bar. If we jump, we will get that star card. Get 3 of these, you get 5 extra lives at the end of the stage. But yeah, you can always guarantee that you get a star card at the end of the stage if you come in at full speed and jump just like that at the right time. Alright, so we have our first instance where we can stock up on extra lives. You really need to have a leaf here so that you can stagger your drop time, and even then it's tricky. There's a much easier way to get infinite lives coming up a little bit later, which we'll show you, but see if we can't get a couple here. This other Goomba can help us out, the flying one. You can see that multiplier going up, as long as we don't touch the ground in between dropping on enemies. And once we pass 8,000, we can get an extra life for every single one that we land on here. There's 2,000, 4,000. Just got that one in, and this should be an extra life right here. And if you keep this going, you can keep grabbing yourself some extra lives, but again, It's not the easiest one. We'll have a much easier one for you in a little bit. Let's bring in Blaze now for an overview of some of the basic items here in Mario 3.
Alright, let's talk about some of the basic items you can find in Super Mario Bros. 3, one of the greatest platformers of all time. First, we have the single coin. You know the drill by now, 100 of these in a Mario game earns you an extra life. You can also earn an extra life instantly if you find one of these typically hidden green mushrooms for a quick 1-up. Then we have the star, grants you temporary invincibility while playing a banging tune if you ask me. Then we have the mushroom. Grab one of these, the super mushroom allows you to grow to Super Mario. You can knock out blocks ahead of you. You know the drill by now, come on. You know the basic items in Mario, but I'm gonna keep going because this is a lot of fun. The fire flower gives Mario some fire power, same benefits as the mushroom otherwise. And then, new to this game, the super leaf. The same benefits as the mushroom, but you can flick your tail to attack enemies. And when you get a full P meter, you can fly for a limited amount of time. Man, this is a fantastic game.
Certainly is. Thank you very much, Blaze. After you hit that coin block, come over here, jump, and find this invisible red music note block. This will take us into the clouds, where we can grab a whole bunch of coins. This also jumps us a little further ahead in the stage. If you have a tail like we have right here, you can actually fly a little bit higher and get some extra coins and fun goodies like that. You can see those coins at the top of the screen. Once you've gotten everything, just drop down in this pipe and you'll get transported back to the level. We're about to get our first 1-up from coins, I believe, here. Let's backtrack here as there we go. As we drop down on this white block, the white blocks in this game, you can hold down and after about 5 seconds, you'll drop through and be in the background. Here in stage 1-3, if we go to the right after doing this, we'll access this secret mushroom house. And there's a warp whistle. As Toad mentioned, this will send us to a faraway land. We'll have Blaze better explain this a little bit later, but as we go to the first normal mushroom house, and at random, you can get either a mushroom, a fire flower, or a leaf. Technically it is random, but I like to always go for the third chest. Maybe it's my imagination, but I feel like I get the most leaves in that third chest, and the leaf being the most valuable item of those three. And speaking of valuable items, we can earn one from this stage by doing something. And let's bring in Fluff, actually, to cover this trick for our first Fluff fact about Super Mario Bros. 3.
In each of the first 7 worlds, there's an instance of the white mushroom house where you can earn either a P-wing on the odd-numbered worlds of 1, 3, 5, and 7, or an anchor on the even-numbered worlds of 2, 4, and 6. To unlock the white mushroom house, you have to collect and beat one level in each world with a specific number of coins. Typically, this involves the challenge of getting all or most of the coins in that level. Here on 1-4, the number is 44, and Professor, I've given you a list of the remaining levels and their coin totals, so you can inform the class accordingly.
I most certainly will. Thank you, Fluff. We'll show you each of the white mushroom house levels and the coin total that you need. Note that we have 44 showing right now, but we began this level with 3 coins, so we need 3 more to hit 44 for the whole stage, and we have just enough here. So now we can exit to the right, full speed, and you can see the jump was a little bit off there, a little bit early. The timing got off, and as such, we just get the 1-1-up from the mixed card layout there. But there's our white mushroom house, a very nice constellation. And as Fluff mentioned, we're going to earn our first P-Wing here, one of the most valuable items of this game. Blaze is going to talk about this a little bit later, some of the rarer items. We have our first mini-game coming up, where the idea is to match 3 pieces together. Go for the stars, it pays out 5 1-ups if you can do it. My strategy is to click a little bit late on the star, a little bit late on the star, and then pretty much right on the star. It's all relative to the middle, as you can see. And there you go. Very difficult to replicate, but that's generally the strategy which I adhere to. A little bit late, a little less late, and then right on the money in the middle. for that final star piece on the bottom, but as we go into our first fortress level, I recommend skipping the fire flower here. There is a leaf coming up, and we'll need the power of flight to get our second warp whistle. We need to clear this runway though, so hop on this dry bones' head, and get up your P meter while he's stunned or broken on the ground, and then fly up here to the right. By the way, kudos to Jimmy from the Wizard. Kind of showed a couple clips, referenced that in the intro, for finding that first warp whistle. I would question how he knew that on his first time playing the game, but he was the Wizard. As we slide down here in level 1-5. It's fun just getting around as we can hit a hidden red music note block there. It's a lot more fun getting around this game when you have the raccoon tail, I will say, just getting that P meter full and flying all over the screen, even in situations where there's nothing above you. In this case there is. We have that 1-up right there like we had on the first cloud coin level. We're already at 18 lives, just a few levels in, doing alright. And I believe once we finish this stage, we're going to have just over 80,000 points. And here to explain why that's important, here's Fluff once again.
The N-Spade card game appears every 80,000 points after you beat a level. One more thing about this game. When the card game appears on top of a fortress on the world map, the fortress will be collapsed and unplayable after you enter and complete the card game. This can soft lock you if actually beating that fortress was necessary in creating a bridge, as in the case in World 4.
And I understand there's a trick to this game. Is that true, Fluff?
That's right, Professor. There's only 8 possible boards each time you play this game. You get 2 mistakes before they kick you out, so if you flip over the same 2 cards at the start and consult a guide online which shows them all like this one here, you can quickly determine which specific board you're playing on and match all the titles accordingly, earning you all the spoils each and every time. This is a good time to mention your inventory gets capped at 4 pages of 7 items each, or a max of 28 items you can carry at once. After that, the final item in your inventory begins to get overridden every time you pick up a new item. As such, make sure you burn through any excess mushrooms and stars whenever you get close to full capacity.
Thank you, Fluff. Yeah, I suspect we're going to have to burn through some items before too long at the rate we're collecting these. Note that there's a 1-up in the second block from the right here. And note that the side which you hit the block on affects which side it comes out, so it's the opposite side. So hit it on the right, it goes to the left, and vice versa. I like to get up my P meter here if possible. Note that you can run over those single gaps, as long as you are running. Get up our P meter, and just use this to bypass a lot of this stage. And there we go, at the end of the stage right here. And we have our first mini-boss on the map as we take on our first Hammer Brothers, so let's throw it to Gary for our first boss beater. Gary?
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters. Alright, the Hammer Brothers, you want to start fast to get close before they throw their hammers. Quickly jump on their heads at the first opening, or you can hit the blocks underneath them when applicable. Not always blocks available, but if you do have them, it's a pretty safe way of getting them down.
Thank you, Gary. Let's test the tails never fails. The right chest always gives leaves. There it is. We'll try to come up with a better rhyme for that before this class is over, but if you have one, leave one in the comments, class. I'd appreciate it. As we're heading to our first airship level, they always start out with this, seeing what the king has been transformed into of each of these lands. And a very emotional Toad, freaking out. Most of the airship stages aren't too difficult. Most of them just involve avoiding projectiles which are flying around the screen like cannonballs or bullet bills. Usually you can stay in the back or the front of the screen to avoid most of the danger. Know that when you're rubbing up against one of the bullet bill cannons, interesting sentence, that they will not fire, so that's nice. You can kind of regulate and anticipate when they're going to fire once you get off there. But you're safe as long as you're touching one of them, even if there's one staring you right in the face with the actual barrel right there. Just take the openings as you get them. And we're coming up on our first of the Koopa Kids, so let's throw it to Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, Larry Koopa, the first of the Koopa Kids. Strategy for a lot of these Koopa Kids is pretty close to being the same. You want to jump on the head, obviously, and then retreat to the left or the right, generally wherever you have more room or flatter ground. When Larry jumps, jump on his head quickly before he gets another shot off, and then 3 head jumps or 10 fire flowers will take him down.
Good tips on Larry, Gary. Thank you very much. Something very satisfying about grabbing that scepter in midair. And after we beat one of these airship stages, we always get a special item from the princess. After the first world, we always get a P-Wing, which is nice. Goes through a cycle. It's P-Wing, Cloud, Music Box, and then at the 4th stage it repeats. So we get another P-Wing after 4, Cloud after 5, Music Box after 6, and one last P-Wing at 7 before the final world. But now here we are in Desert Land. Second world here in Super Mario Bros. 2. Watch out for the pile driver micro Goombas that are hiding in some of these blocks, these fake blocks. If you're accurate, you can whip one of the flames with your tail and take it down, but not really any need, not necessary. If we build enough speed, we can fly up here and access a hidden pipe right here. Grab ourselves some coins. These silver coins are worth just as much as the normal kind. You can see it whenever we hit one of those P blocks, it flips all of the coins for blocks and vice versa in the stage. That'll have some interesting applications a little bit later. We're going to backtrack here, pick up this 1-up. Generally speaking, we're going to show you every single 1-up you can get in this game, just part of the deep dive of every single level. And now, let's throw it back to Blaze for a look at the rarer items of Mario 3.
Alright, let's talk about some of the rare items you will find in Super Mario Bros. 3. First, the rarest of them all, Karibo's shoe, allows you to jump higher when you're inside of it and makes you invincible against enemies and threats beneath you that you wouldn't otherwise be able to walk on. Then we have the P-Wing, which is the same benefits as the Super Leaf or the Tanuki suit, with the exception being that you have a constant full P meter, so you can fly at will until you take damage, so hold on to that. We have the Warp Whistle, which allows you to warp to a later block of worlds. You could use 2 back-to-back to get straight to level 8 early on in the game, or World 8, I should say. Then we have the Music Box, which puts enemies on the overworld map to sleep, so you can get by them. We have Lakitu's Cloud, which allows you to skip 1 level. We have the Hammer, which allows you to access otherwise inaccessible areas. And then finally, the Anchor keeps the airship from moving if you lose a life on that airship. But there you go, the rare items of Super Mario Bros. 3.
Thank you, Blaze. And this is the White Mushroom House stage of World 2. The number to get is 30. We started with 2, so we need to end with 32 at least. To get that, make sure you don't destroy any more blocks than you need to. Hit that coin block right there. There's a 1-up right there if you want to grab that. Hidden. Don't hit any of these blocks prematurely. Once you've gotten all those free coins that are shown that we just grabbed, go back to the start. And this time, we're going to duck down and hit this block to find a P block. We're going to run as fast as we can to the right here. Ride this platform. Still need to get 3 more, and to get that, there's 4 here at the end, and we just got enough. So there's 31 coins in this stage, I believe, and yeah, not a lot of wiggle room for failure. They're on 2-2. Honestly, though, if we didn't get them all, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because, as Fluff mentioned, the prize here in this White Mushroom House is an anchor, which, as Blaze just mentioned, isn't really relevant for our purposes. It stops the airship from moving around, but if you're completing all the levels like we are anyway, then the airship isn't going to be moving anywhere that we can't access otherwise, so not a big deal, but There it is. Just use it now. Just get rid of it. We move on to the first fortress stage here in World 2. The only fortress stage here in World 2. And we actually didn't get to see the boss of the first fortress stage because we took that shortcut to get the warp whistle. So we'll bring Gary in to show us how to beat Boom Boom. Get a pretty reliable strategy for him. We ride the pipe up here. The raccoon tail, not just for accessing hidden areas, but just nice for avoiding more dangerous situations just by staggering that drop time in a lot of situations as we run at full speed right here, right on through. As we have the debut of the Boos from the Super Mario series right here, making their first appearance. I think purportedly they were inspired by one of the developers' wives, I read, and she was shy, but had a temper, so hence the Boos personalities. Looking away from you, but then coming in hot. But anyway, Gary, Boom Boom.
Boss beater.
The Boom Boom. Jump on his head, retreat, and then time that next jump right when he jumps to hit him again. Repeat the step one more time. He takes 3 hits to take him down. You can repeat this every time you run in the Boom Boom, no matter which version, the flying version, the jumping version. It always works on him, the running version. This will always work. Trust me, take him down.
Thank you, Gary. Got another tile match game right here. And I always like to flip the leftmost and rightmost in that second row to figure out which board we're working with. Every now and then you may need to pull one more with your next move to finally lock down which board you're on, but by then you can certainly tell definitively which board you're on. And a mini fun fact, the last 3 cards on that bottom row are always a mushroom, fire flower, and star in that order. For whatever that's worth. Doesn't really help us with the game, but the more you know, right? Alright, how about third box, always a lock? Finally got our little rhyme. And of course, that's the time it fails us. I think we all saw that one coming. Anyway, as I lick my wounds, let's throw it back to Fluff for information about the mythical white coin ship and how we can access it. Fluff?
To change a Hammer Brother into the white ship, which is full of coins, collect a number of coins that is a multiple of 11. Make sure the tens digit in your score matches the number, so 40 points for 44 coins. And make sure the timer ends when you beat the stage on an even number. If you manage to pull off this trick designed by someone who I guarantee has a bit of an obsessive-compulsive streak, a Hammer Brother will be transformed into the epic white ship of fortune. Note that this only works on stages with Hammer Brothers walking about, or specifically 1, 3, 5, and 6.
Good call, Fluff, thank you. As we gain some speed here and take to the sky, we'll find a P block, which will transform all the blocks into coins. Get our 1-up right there, but yeah, it's just a coin collecting spree. Still gotta watch out for those disguised micro Goombas. So cute, but so deadly. Be careful when you knock the shell right here. It pops back off that wall pretty quickly and it can hit you if you're not quick enough. This is doing the heavy lifting for us, and then we're gonna drop down. And there's more coins to be had if you're patient. I'm not. Not worth the couple coins we'd pick up. Got our second star there. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3 this time. The next stage is the actual desert stage of Desert Land. And this is where the raccoon tail really pays off. We can use it to make this stage a lot easier, a lot faster. Build up some momentum right about here, and then just launch off of that piece of land and fly over that first little tornado. Normally you need to build up full speed to, yeah, got a little aggressive and careless trying to fly again. But still, if we just keep full speed. There we go. Our first 5 ups right there. But yeah, if you get caught in that tornado, just make sure you're running at it at full speed and jump, and you can sort of launch over it. Pretty satisfying, actually. Alright, third box, always a lock. I feel like ever since I came up with a proper rhyme, it's, yep. It really is random, but there you are. I'm not going to give up on box number 3. If you have a super leaf in your inventory, I recommend using it right now. If you don't already have a raccoon tail going in the level 2-4, we just use it to take a little, sort of a shortcut, but only way we can access this at the top left. Get that full P-bar and just fly up here. And there's a P switch in one of these blocks. I think it's the 3rd or 4th from the left on the right side here. There it is. It's a relatively short level though. After we hit this, just go to the right and we can bypass a lot of the obstacles of this stage just by taking the top route. And I think just a little bit to the right is the end of the stage. Right there, yep. Very short level if you use that trick. Watch out for the Boomerang brother waiting for you at the end, just to make sure you don't get a nice card. We're gonna hit 5 before we take on those Hammer brothers. And Fluff, I'm told you have a fun fact about the chain chomps?
This next Fluff fact is attributed to someone who didn't have anything better to do. If you wait around the chain chomp long enough, specifically at the 160-second mark, the chain chomp will break loose and launch at you before jumping off the screen.
Who has the time? Thank you very much, Fluff. And note that even when we're large Mario, we can still get underneath those blocks like that. Trying to get there we go. As we access another hidden area up here, only accessible by having the raccoon tail. Got another P switch here. There's a leaf in this rightmost one, this bottom right one, if you don't already have one. They're very generous with the leaves here in 5-5. And just like that little shortcut, we're at the end of the level, mind the chain chomp. We might be able to get ourselves a 3 in a row for the fire flowers, which of course means we won't. You know how that goes. Alright, let's try this again. A little late. Little late. That was a little too late, I think, on that last one. Yep, messes the whole thing up. Alright, another mini-boss here. Let's go back to Gary. What do you got, Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, Boomerang Brothers, start fast and jump over that first boomerang as you approach the boss. We'll give them that title. Be nice to them. Jump on their head before they get that second boomerang off. Just like that, they're gone.
Thank you, Gary. Yep, pays to be aggressive with the Boomerang Brothers as we head into the pyramid, where we get to the second airship of this game. There's that Koji Kondo Pipe World music again. Like the callback to the original Mario. The tail once again helps in this stage, so you're not reliant on the Buzzy Beetles to flip one on their back and toss them against the blocks to get through. Bunch of coins here if you want to pop up here. If you keep as many of those blocks intact, you can hit this P switch and get a few more coins out of the deal. Just look down and notice we have 38 lives at this point. Doing pretty good in that category right now. This should spit us out at the end of the level. Let's see if we can stagger our timing here, and maybe there it is. 3 fire flowers. Good for 3 extra lives. We're at 41 now. Looking pretty good. There's another end card here. So let's again flip the first and last one in that second row. There's still 2 different boards which feature a 10 in those 2 spots, so gotta open up a couple more of these to figure out exactly which board we're on. And I think I got it now. Again, you always know there's a star in that bottom right, and a flower next to it, and then a mushroom next to that. I need to take a look. Yeah, we're almost out of space in our pants. Not the worst thing in the world if the hammer, or the Boomerang brother, knocks us around. There's a music box. As Blaze mentioned, puts the Hammer Brothers on the map to sleep. I just like it for the change of music that it provides every now and then. Use our hammer here and we're going to get our first special suit of Super Mario Bros. 3. Doesn't matter which one you open, they are all frog suits right here. And yeah, we just need to burn through some stuff at this point. Start creating some space in our inventory. As we get a rare Fire Brothers sighting right here, as we get the final warp whistle. Let's throw it back to Blaze now to get some information on the 3 special suits of Super Mario Bros. 3.
Alright, let's talk about the 3 specialized suits which you can get in Super Mario Bros. 3. First, the frog suit. Great for swimming, awkward for jumping. Next, we have the Tanuki suit. It's the same as the Super Leaf, but we can hold down and press B to become a statue, and it's a lot cuter, let's be honest. And finally, the Hammer suit. Maybe the rarest in this game. You can throw hammers, and you can hold down to duck and block fire on the ground with that shell.
Yeah, the hammer suit is pretty awesome, I have to say. Nice having, I mean, the fire flower is nice, but the hammers are more satisfying to toss around, if you ask me. Just my opinion. Thing to be aware of in some of these airship stages is when the airship sways up and down, rather the screen. The bullet bills and other projectiles will kind of slowly change their trajectory, so just something to be aware of here. I'm gonna wait till these all fire and then drop down and make that transition, quickly jump back up before these bullet bills have a chance at us. We have our first Rocky Wrench sightings of this game. These guys that pop out and toss wrenches at us. Fire flowers, nice against them. And it's time for the second boss, Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, Morton Koopa Jr. The exact same strategy as Larry. Jump on his head, retreat left or right. You want to maybe favor where you have flatter ground and more room to move around. And once again, 3 head jumps, 10 fire flower shots will take him down.
Yeah, they didn't go overboard with the boss battles in this game, I'll admit. They're all relatively the same, with a couple wrinkles here and there, which I'm sure Gary will tell us about as we move along. We are now 1/4 through this game. Maybe a little bit less, considering some of the later worlds have more stages to them. But still, 2 for 2. And we get a cloud from the princess this time, which, as Blaze mentioned, it can be useful for skipping some of the more difficult stages. But we're moving on to Waterland next. We'll get Mario back in here, and I get to ask him a question I've been meaning to ask him for a very long time in the next one. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you.